Hey everyone, this is Schleicher from Gaming Trend and Tabletop Throwdown, and I'm here with Brandan, and we are at the Indie Boards and Cards booth at Origins, and we are going to look at a couple of their new games, and one of them is called Delve, and this was kickstarted?
Yeah, this was recently kickstarted and is shipping out to backers and stores, I believe, a month from now.
Okay, so real close.
Real close. This is we shipped out a few early for the show, and we're playing them here.
So what's the objective of Delve?
So Delve is a tile-laying game where you are building out this dungeon of tiles, and what you want to do is have the most gold. As you see, there's a lot of opportunities for gold in this dungeon. It's similar to a game, Carcassonne, where when you add a tile, depending on how you line it up with the other tiles, you will create larger and larger features. So there's only one placement rule in this game, and that's the corridors or hallways need to line up. Otherwise, so actually this would be an illegal place, but if it's a turn like this, now the corridors do line up, and that's fine. It doesn't matter if the other features line up, just the corridors need to line up.
Okay.
And now after you place a tile, you're going to be able to take one of your 5 Delver tokens and place it face down on one of the features. You will then be vying for control of that feature. When that feature is finished, so let's say somebody places this tile here, now this hallway is completed. It depends, if you're by yourself, you will get a encounter card read to you. But if you are, and then you will, it's kind of like a choose your own adventure, you will be only read the flavor and then the 2 bold options. So either tighten your load, you won't know what happens, or it's mine, you won't know what happens until you choose one or the other. But now, if there is more than one player in a room, you will fight for control of that treasure. So in this case, we would flip up our guys now that the room is complete, and we would compare. These are both the same guys, so I'm going to swap them out just for this example. Let's say the leader was fighting the mage. You'll see in the top left corner, these are the dice you will be using. So the mage will use 2 white dice, as shown here. The leader will use a red and a purple. The purple has a higher chance of getting coins from this encounter, and the red has a higher chance of rolling swords, and the most swords will win the encounter. So in this case, we'd have 2 white versus 1 red and 1 purple. We'd roll them. Whoever gets the most swords will take control of the room. Whoever gets the most coins will get an extra treasure. If you give a symbol like this, it means you score those 2 swords and you get to roll it again, adding 1 more coin in this case. You keep track of your rolls on this board here, so I would have advanced myself forward. I should have done it before I re-rolled, but I think I had a 2 and a re-roll. Yeah, I had a 2 and a re-roll, so 4 swords and 2 coins. I'd keep that there, keep that here, and then my opponent would roll. There are 2 white dice, 2 swords, and 1 re-roll, so let's advance them 2 and re-roll, 1 more and re-roll, and 1 coin. So in this case, I should have had this be yellow. The yellow player would win the encounter with 4 swords, and they would win the additional loot with 2 gold. When you win an encounter, you will get all of the treasure chests. So if there's a treasure chest in the room, there's not in this scenario, but if there was, the winner would get all of the treasure. And treasure's the best thing in the game. It's like a better version of the gold coins. That will give you gold coins, and often they will give you a special bonus as well. In this case, there's only gold coins. The winner gets half of them rounded down. So this is going to be a very odd example here, because half of 3 rounded down is 1. The winner gets 1 gold coin card, and the loser continues to get half rounded down. So they would get half of 2 rounded down is also 1. So in this case, the winner and the loser are actually the same. But if there was 1 more player in this, let's say the black player was also in there and they were in 3rd place, now half of 1 remaining is 0 rounded down. So 3rd place in this case would not get any. And that's basically the idea. We are adding tiles and then placing our delvers onto the features on them to try to get gold coins. The game is over once we've played enough of these tiles with the sun feature on them. They correspond to this sunset tracker here. Once the day has completely ended, we all have the same number of turns, so we'll play from the first player marker the final round of the game.
Cool. So how many does this play?
This is 2 to 4 players.
And how long does it take about?
We say about 60 minutes, but that is very variable based on who you're playing with.
Cool. And what is this going to retail for in store?
I believe this is MSRP 40.
Okay, yeah, looks like a great little game and easy tile laying and lots of theme with the adventure.
Yes, absolutely.
And now we have a new game from Indie Boards and Cards called Trickster Champions of Time. So what's the objective of this game? It's a card game.
Right. Yeah, so this is a trick-taking game. This is like a twist on a trick-taking game where the second card you play will determine the trick. So the first card can be led as anything, but depending on the next card's relationship to that card, the rest of the trick will have to follow suit. So, for instance, in each game, there will be 7 different characters, and each character will have 8 different colors. So if I play the Brigand, and then as the first card of the trick, and the next player plays a Brigand, now we must all play Brigands. But if I play a red Brigand and the next player plays a red Revolutionary, now we all must play red cards. There is a third option, and that is if I play a card that does not match color or character, now nobody can match color or character for the entire trick. So nobody can play red or white or soldier or brigand. If I played this next, nobody could play nomad or orange or white or soldier or red or brigand, and we keep going like this. You can't match any of the cards previously played. Now, if someone can play to a trick, they must, but if they cannot play to a trick, then they will score that trick, and you do not want tricks in this game. Points are bad. Every card you have at the end of the game in your tableau, that's the cards you've scored, will be 1 point, and points are bad. Most points loses, least fewest points wins. However, if you have the majority of a color, the most, more than any other player of a color scored in your tableau, let's say I had 4 red cards scored in my tableau and there are only 7 in play, this would be the most red, you do not score it. So these are like no points, we just discard them. So it's kind of like this shooting the moon, a classic thing you have in trick-taking games. If you are able to get enough of the cards of one color, it's actually a good thing. So the other thing going on in Trickster is every card has a special ability. Whenever you play a card to the trick, you will do what it says. For instance, the soldier says, move a card from your hand to an opponent's tableau. So you're just going to take one of the cards in your hand and you're going to give it to your opponent and they just score it as a point. Bad for them. And they're all going to be interactions like this, moving from hands to play, moving from play to hand. There is another, in the beginning of the setup of the game, you deal 6 cards face up, and this is called the trash. The trash will sometimes be mentioned on cards, and that's just this pool of cards here. So, in the base game, there is enough to play twice over. So every game you're going to be playing with 7 character cards. There are 14 in the base game. What I have here is a collection from the beginning way of playing, but we also have an advanced deck of cards, and you can intermingle them as you want. You just must have 7 characters, and they'll always have 8 colors.
Cool.
Yeah, so the hand is played until one player runs out of cards in their hand, at which point all the cards in players' hands are scored. So you're not going to be safe when your hand. They go into your tableau, and you will then add up, see who has the most of a color. That color is ditched for that player, and then you add up their points, and you play for 3 rounds. The player with the fewest points after 3 rounds wins.
And is this available today?
So this one, just like Delve, is an early release at Origins. It will be shipping to backers, I believe, later this month.
Cool. And how many does it play?
This is a 2 to 7 player game, but if you're playing with 2 or 3, you're going to be using the special rules with a dummy player. So the base game, the main, is really 4 to 7 players.
Still, that's a lot of people to play at one time.
It's great, and I've played with 7, and it's a hoot. It's a lot of fun.
Cool, and how much is it?
This one, we're doing $20.
Cool. Very nice price point for a card game like this.